Hey everybody, it's Cooterz, and we're going to be taking a look at a few more ascendancies. I think I missed like 5. I've been sleeping all day, so try to keep up and catch up and just kind of get these ones done. I think this is all of them. I'm not too sure. But the first one we're going to be looking at is Saboteur. I do like this ascendancy because I used to be really big into mines. Glacial Cascade Miner, I did make one this league in Standard, and it's super strong. So let's see just how they ended up changing this. So I'm going to start here with the bottom row, just the miner's trapper path. So we'll start with 7. 7 is Born in Shadows. So it looks like they changed it. Born in Shadows used to be, I believe, right here, number 10, but cannot be blinded. 10% reduced damage taken from blinded enemies. 30% increased damage with hits and ailments against blinded enemies. 25% chance to blind enemies on hit. I think that is a buff. I think the 30% increased damage with hits and ailments against blinded enemies used to be tacked on to the end of it. So I guess they just moved this to its own limb here. So I think they just, I think they put 2 of them together, basically. Number 4, Bomb Specialist. Can have up to 2 additional remote mines placed at a time. That's definitely a buff. 20% increased mine laying speed if you detonate mines recently. 40% increased damage if you detonated mines recently. Okay, so they removed the AoE portion. Let's see if they put it on this one. Demolition Specialist. You gain 8% increased area of effect for each mine. Okay. 20% chance when placing mines to place an additional mine, and 100% increased mine arming speed. Alright. So, changed a little bit there. Bomb Specialist, you know, took some stuff from the other one and just flopped around and added some things. But overall, looks like a small buff, I guess. Interesting that they moved the AoE out to 4 points instead of 2. Okay, let's look at number 2, Pyromaniac. I believe this was a limb before. Immune to Ignite, immune to Shock, definitely new. 1% life regenerated per second for each of your mines detonated recently, up to 20%. Wow. 1% life regeneration or regenerated per second for each of your traps triggered recently, up to 20%, and 25% reduced cost of mana cost of skills that place mines or throw traps. That's really good because mines and traps do cost a lot, especially when you're using remote mine and mine field. I think those are like 150% and 160% respectively when it comes to mana multi. So your Glacial Cascade mines on a 6 link are something like 140 mana per mine lay, which is insane. So the 25% reduced mana cost of skills that place mines and traps, very, very, very good. Perfect Trime, number 10, we're up here. 20% increased cooldown recovery speed for throwing traps. I don't know why. Let me see if I can. Okay, there we go. You gain 8% increased damage for each trap and 20% chance for traps to trigger additional time. All right. 12 Chain Reaction. Okay, this was the you know, they used to share a path for traps, and I guess now they split them up completely. 30% increased trap damage, 30% increased cooldown recovery speed for throwing traps, 20% increased area effect of your traps when you traps trigger. You also trigger nearby traps. Okay, so that's pretty similar before. I think these might be buffs up here. 14 Explosive Experts, 20% increased area of effect, 20% increased area damage. Damage penetrates 10% elemental resistance, 10% reduced redemption. That's very, very good. So before, the issue with this tree was if you went mines or traps, pretty much you could only spend about 6 points and the rest were just not really worth it. So here, if you're going to go mines, for example, since I know this well, I would go, you know, from 4 to 6, that's 4 points. And then the other 2, definitely Explosive Experts would be really good. And then 2 itself, the Pyromaniac, there you go. That's 8 points and it's pretty good. And you can pretty much do the same thing with traps. So that's really cool that they kind of made this tree now traps and mines kind of only, which I think was the right move. So that's a good change for sure. Inquisitor, this is one that I think a lot of people thought were going to get nerfed, but judging from what I've been seeing, I'm going to assume it's going to be kind of a side grade because everything else around it is kind of getting buffed. So let's check it out. Let's go here to Instruments of Virtue. 30% increased spell damage if you cast a spell recently, 50% increased attack damage if you cast a spell recently, 20% increased attack speed if you've attacked recently, and 30% increased cast speed if you've attacked recently. So I believe they did a little bit of changing here. The attack damage used to be 30% and the attack speed used to be 30%. So it looks like a 20% attack damage buff and a 10% attack speed nerf. I think this is overall nerf because a lot of people who use Instruments of Virtue were usually spell-based and they would use the attack speed buff for like Shield Charge or Whirling Blades or something like that. So I think overall this might be a nerf. We'll see though. 4, Righteous Providence. 100% increased critical strike against enemies that are affected by no elemental ailments, and 45% the crit multi against enemies that are. 20% increased effect of non-damaging elements on enemies. I think that's the same. Number 6, Enidal Judgment. Critical strikes ignore enemy monster resistances, and non-crit strikes penetrate 10% of enemy elemental resistances. I believe that is the same as well. Let's go up to 12, or let's take a look at number 12, since that's normally what people would take if they take these two branches down here. Augury of Penitence. Nearby enemies take 16% increased elemental damage, and nearby enemies deal 8% less elemental damage. That is the same. Alright, Pious Path, or not Pious Path, let's Sanctify. 30% chance to create Consecrated Ground, 1 hit lasting 8 seconds. Consecrated Ground, you create gains 40% increased damage to you and your allies. 10% to create Consecrated Ground when you hit a rare unique enemy lasting 8 seconds. 30% chance to create Consecrated Ground on kill, lasting 8 seconds. Alright, in Pious Path, 6% of max mana and energy shield regenerate per second while on ground. 25% increased attack and cast speed while on Consecrated Ground. Immune to elemental ailments while on Consecrated Ground. So overall, it looks like Inquisitor got not much of a change. I think it's because, you know, the elemental damage was just too strong, or just ridiculously strong coming out from Inquisitor. So Instruments of Virtue, slight nerf there. So I think most builds that are still playing it will still do well, but might not be getting the same kind of, I guess, type of build, since so many other ascendancies are quite better now. Alright, Necromancer looks like it got changed a lot, so I don't know too much about Necromancer, so I might have to bring up Path of Building. I think I have it up in here, so let me just bring this up as, you know, a template, because I do not remember Necromancer. Last time I played a Necro was a long time ago, so I'm going to use this for a template here, just helping us out. So this is number 2, Commander of Darkness. Okay, let's see what the difference is here. Sorry. Auras you cast grant 3% increase attack speed and cast speed while, or to you and your allies. You and allies deal 30% increased damage while affected by auras you cast, and you and your allies have 20% to all elemental resist affected by your auras. That is exactly the same. Let's go over to, but the thing is, I guess it just moved. Let's go to 12, since Mistress of Sacrifice used to be kind of like a skill we all would get, because it was so strong. So let's see what the difference is. Here is 20% increased skill effect duration. Okay, your offering skills also affect you. Now you also have your offerings have 50% reduced effect on you, so that's a big nerf. Wow, 50% reduction while affecting yourself. 40% increased damage if you've consumed a corpse recently. Okay, 22% increased attack and cast speed for each corpse consumed recently. Interesting. So, So it looks like, alright, this could be really good for Volatile Dead, maybe. But even then, you'd have to consume some corpses while doing Volatile Dead. I don't know. This is interesting. The 50% reduction effect on you kind of sucks for minion builds, because normally when you hit your offerings, they're trying to buff your minions, but also get some buffs to yourself to either make you, you know, a little more tanky or what have you, move faster. But that is an interesting change for sure. All right, let's look at, let's go down this path. Or let's just look at number 10, since it's right here, Puppet Master. I believe that is that a new, I guess Puppet Master is a new thing here. Minions have 20% increased movement speed, 30% increased minion duration. Okay, good for something like skeletons or SRS. Minions have 12% increased attack and cast speed if you or your minions have killed recently. Wow. 30% increased minion damage if you've used the minion skill recently. Yeah, very good for like SRS, since you're always pumping out as many as you can. So Puppet Master seems like a pretty good choice for something like Summon Raging Spirits. Alright, I guess we're going to look now at number 4, which is Invoker. Wow, all these are like totally different here. Let's go to Invoker, and then, let's take a look at that. Invoker, minions have 20% increased life, minions deal 20% increased damage, minions regenerate 2% life per second, 50% increased Convocation cooldown recovery speed. Okay, interesting. Good for more, I guess, tanky builds. SRS, I think the life doesn't matter too much, but something like Specters or Zombies seems very, very good. Actually, that's pretty good too for Dark Pact, just to give extra life to your minions, to your skeletons, since it does more damage the more life they have. So that's interesting. All right, and then I guess we'll move on to number 6. That does look like Fleshbinder. So let's see what changed here. You and your minions have 1% additional physical damage reduction for each zombie you own. That's what Fleshbinder did before. But now you get a ton more. You get your raised zombies spread constant cloud on death. Okay, that was, I think that's related to kind of like Beacon of Corruption. Dealing 50% of their max life as chaos damage per second. Before it was only 10%, so 50% is huge. Raised Zombies Slam attack has 100% increased area of effect, and Raised Zombies Slam attack has 100% increased cooldown recovery speed, plus 2 the number of zombies. So yeah, definitely a big buff for a zombie tree here. So I guess they're just kind of make it more like a zombie path. And then let's go down to 14, Soul Weaver. That was here before. That is the same thing. Specters have 100% increased max life and 100% increased damage. So obviously going, you know, to Fleshbinders, like zombies, going down to Soul Weavers for Specters. And then number 8, which is related to Spirit Eater. Let's see how that changed. Where is it? Spirit Eater. Oh, it's now called, sorry, it's now called Bone Sculptor. Skeletons deal 40% damage. Increased damage, sorry. Summon 2 additional skeleton warriors with summon skeleton. That's also good for Dark Pact. 100% increased skeleton movement speed. Summoned skeletons hits cannot be evaded. Plus 2 the max number of skeletons. I actually think that could work for, you know, obviously Skelly builds, but also Dark Pact build is not bad. So yeah, so I didn't realize, but Spirit Eater looks like it was tied into Puppet Master. Is that right? No, sorry. It was tied into Commander of Dark. No, I don't even know. I can't even tell. This was basically Spirit Eater was done with, and it was moved between multiple things, I believe. Mistress, yeah, it's now on Mistress of Sacrifice. That's what it is. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, so this was just combined with Mistress of Sacrifice, and then Beacon of Corruption was kind of moved off to other things as well. Is there no more chaos damage though? Increased chaos damage on Beacon of Corruption? I guess there isn't. Huh, that is weird. I don't know. Necro seems weird to me. I feel like they've tried to spec out to, you know, zombie, if you want to go zombies, if you want to go specters, if you want to go skeletons, and then if you want stuff that kind of is beneficial to you. I don't know, it seems like an overall nerf, definitely for something like Mistress of Sacrifice. However, maybe buff to like more specific builds. Not too sure about that one. Maybe you guys can tell me in the comments if you guys think it was a nerf or a buff. I feel like it's a kind of a side grade. I don't really know for sure. It's kind of hard to tell. All right, Gladiator is another one I never do. So this is a more tanky side of the tree for duelists. So let's take a look at this. Let's start off with Painforged, and I'm gonna pull this up because, like I said, I just don't know this tree well enough. Painforged, okay. 8% additional block chance if you were damaged by a hit recently. 40% increased damage if you've taken no damage from hits recently. So that's the same. But now you get cannot be stunned by hits you block, and your counterattacks deal double damage. Interesting. Was there any other counterattacks before that was happening here? I don't think so. All right, so it looks like a buff there. Number 4, Versatile Combatant. 100% of black chance applied to spells. That's exactly the same. So that's cool. No nerfs there. Violent, we're going to look at number 8, Violent Retaliation. Plus 4% to maximum block chance. That is a buff. 8% increased physical damage for each hit you blocked in the past 10 seconds. Same thing. 80% increased physical damage if you blocked a hit from a unique enemy in the past 10 seconds. That was a buff. It used to be the same thing, but only 4 seconds. It was recently. Now it's 10 seconds, so a 6% or 6 second increase. Let's see, 1% additional block chance for each hit you blocked in the past 10 seconds. So I guess you don't get the movement speed anymore, but you did get the buff of the just having a base block chance as well as the additional block chance. So, all right, still a buff. I feel just a little bit slower. Number 6 is Outmatch and Outlast. 25% chance to gain a frenzy charge on kill with main hand. 25% to gain endurance charge on kill with offhand. Same thing. 10% more physical damage while at max frenzy charges, and 10% reduced physical damage taken while at max endurance charges. Exactly the same there. Now let's take a look at, I guess it's Gratuitous Violence. That is number 10. Now they have called it Blood in the Eyes, so it looks like they swapped them possibly. So let's take a look at this one down here. Attacks have 25% chance to cause bleeding. Attacks maim on hit against bleeding enemies. Okay. So before it was a 30% chance, now it's 100%. That's cool. 10% chance to blind with hits against bleeding enemies. That's a new thing. Enemies maimed by you take 10% increased physical damage. Interesting. Kind of weird here. Looks like this reduced damage from taken from bleeding enemies was removed. Also, the 10% increased physical damage from maimed enemies. Before it's 30% increased damage with hits, any elements against bleeding enemies. So, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I mean, since you have to maim to cause, or you have to bleed to cause maim, it looks like that is a nerf actually, because before you got 30% increased damage, now you only get 10%. But I guess you do get 100% maim though, which makes them slower. I don't know. It seems like a nerf to me. Okay, let's look at Gratuitous Violence, which is number 12 down here. Attacks have 25% chance to cause bleeding. Same thing. 30% increased damage with hits and ailments against bleeding enemies. Okay. Right. So it looked like they moved that. That was always the same thing. Okay, that was always the same thing. Bleeding enemies you kill explode, dealing 10% of their max life as physical damage. Okay, that's the same thing. And we also got 24% more damage with bleeding, which is a huge multi. So that's a big buff. All right, Gladiator, I think a slight buff. Nothing too crazy. Trickster. I also don't know this one too well. I have played a Trickster, but I don't remember a lot of the stuff off the top of my head. So let's go look at Hardest of the Void down. Let's go 2, 4, 11, then 9, 13, 15. So 2 is Hardest of the Void. That was which one was Harness the Void before? Is that new? I guess Harness the Void is new. Your hits have 20% chance to gain 50% of non-chaos damage as extra chaos damage. Wow. Wow, okay. That's really good. Your hits have 50% chance to gain 100% of non-chaos damage as extra chaos damage, and your hits have 10% to gain 200% of non-chaos damage as extra chaos damage. Wow, that seems really good, actually. Low percentages, but still a lot of damage. Prolonged pain, 20% increased skill effect duration, 10% reduced damage taken from damage over time, 20% increased poison duration, 15% more damage over time. Wow. Okay. So you're gonna get extra for like bleed and poison and stuff like that for prolonged pain. 11. Patient Reaper. Jeez, this has changed so much. 50% increased damage over time. Recover. This is just totally changed. I'm gonna look at this. Recover 2% of maximum life on kill. Recover 2% of energy shield on kill, and recover 4% of maximum mana on kill. 70% increased recovery rate of life, mana, and energy shield if you killed an enemy affected by your damage over time recently. Wow. Okay. I guess wow. Oh, this is bizarre. So you can actually choose to go this way or this way. So you can choose to go Patient Reaper into Prolonged Pain, or you can go Harness the Void into Prolonged Pain. Oh, very interesting. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. This wedge system here is new for sure. I like that. 7, Swift Killer. +1 max frenzy charges and maximum power charges. Okay, that's decent. 15% chance to gain a frenzy charge and a power charge on kill. Very good. 5% increased damage per frenzy charge. 5% increased damage per power charge. That's amazing. 9, Weave the Arcane. 25% increased max mana. Movement skills cost no mana. 20% increased attack and cast speed if you've used a movement skill recently. 20% chance to recover 10% of max mana when you use a skill. Wow. 6% reduced damage taken for 4 seconds after spending 200 mana. Okay. 13, Ghost Dance. 40% increased attack and cast speed if energy shield recharge has started recently. 20% more chance to evade while on full energy shield. 10% chance to dodge attacks and spell damage while you have frenzy shield. Or sorry, energy shield. 10% increased movement speed while you have energy shield. And 15 is Escape Artist. +5 evasion rating per 1 maximum energy shield on helmet. +1 to maximum energy shield per 6 evasion rating on body armor. Cannot be stunned if you haven't been hit recently. 8% reduced damage taken if you haven't been recently. Wow, I don't know. Trickster seems really good. A lot of damage on the left side of the tree and very good energy shield stuff on the right side. I mean, Trickster has been kind of known to be an energy shield type build, but there's a lot to take in there. I don't know. This is one of the more crazy ascendancies for sure that it's going to have to take a lot of kind of looking into theory crafting, but it seems very strong. Okay, Occultist. All right, Forbidden Power, 5% increased area of effect per power charge, 5% increased spell damage per power charge. All right, gain a power charge after you spend a total of 200 mana +1 the max power charges. I want to make sure like this is similar, but it's not quite the same. So let's take a look at what changed here. So before you got 10% chance to gain a power charge, you don't now you get it when you spend a total of 200 mana. Interesting. And you do the +1 max power charges, and you get some extra stuff, so that's cool. Looks like a slight buff for Profane Bloom. Your curses can apply to hexproof enemies. Wow, very good. Very good for things like, you know, Warlords of Mark if you need to leech or something like that. Cursed enemies you or your minions kill have a 25% chance to explode, dealing a quarter of their max life as chaos damage. Okay, it's similar, but now it now works with your enemies. Interesting. Now it works, sorry, not your enemies, with your minions, excuse me. They took out the 10% increased damage, though, with enemies you curse. Interesting. All right. Malediction. Enemies can have 1 additional curse. Same thing. 50% increased effect of your curses. Very good. When you kill an enemy, for each curse on that enemy, gain 8% of non-chaos damage, extra damage for a second. So, quite the buff there. Enemies you curse have malediction. Enemies you curse have malediction. So if you curse an enemy, they have better curses, and they also, if they kill one of your minions, they gain damage. Ooh, I don't know. That's weird. It's bizarre. I don't know what to think about that one. Void Beacon. Nearby enemies have negative 20% chaos resistance. Nearby enemies have 100% reduced life regenerate. Oh wow, that's a big buff, I guess. I mean, I usually take it for the 20% reduction on the chaos resistance, but you know. Wicked Ward. Plus 100 max energy shield. Energy shield recharge not rendered by damage if you. Okay, same thing. And last one, Vile Bastion. This one now gives 150 max energy shields. Okay. Before, used to give, I think you used to get 100 on Wicked Ward. Now you get even more on Vile Bastion. Really cool. 1% of energy shield regenerated per second for each enemy you or your minions have killed recently, up to 30%. Wow, cannot be stunned while you have energy shields? Cannot be stunned while you have energy shields. Oh, okay. For chaos inoculation builds, this is insane. 1% of energy shield. Wow, okay. So really good energy shield recharge rate as long as you're killing things and your minions can kill things. And you can't be stunned while you have energy shield. That is crazy, because most people have to use you know, some neck piece like I can't even think of it right now, but you know what I'm talking about, the upgraded neck piece that makes it harder for you to get stunned, that uses your energy shield instead of like life or whatever, or the ring. I just can't think of them right now, but you know what I'm talking about. Before, you definitely had to switch over to using a ring or using an amulet if you wanted to make sure you weren't going to get stunned, or use something else. That's crazy. I don't know. Occultist, I keep on calling Occultist. God. Occultist is pretty crazy. Trickster is like insane. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot. My brain is like gonna explode. So if you guys help me out, what do you guys think was the big buff here? What was the big takeaway? I think maybe energy shield's back, baby. I don't know if it's really gonna be back, but I think they're trying to make it something. They're trying to make it, you know, viable again. So yeah, leave your comments down below. Let me know which one you think is the most OP. I think some of these were definitely good. Inquisitor didn't get really not much of a nerf. Everything around it kind of just built up. So I need to go. I need to take a rest. My brain is hurting. Guys, remember to do big, do good, and do you. And I'll see you guys in the next video.